If you are looking for the best cash ISA for your money in 2024, 2025, now are we into the start of this financial year, then this video will take you through the best paying accounts across all those different options, from easy access and limited access through to fixes, as well as mentioning of lifetime ISAs and junior ISAs as well. Plus, although we don't focus on investing on this channel and don't cover it too often, I'm going to take you through a couple of options for your stocks and shares ISAs as well, a couple of special offers that might be worth tackling those, using those for your investments in April of this year. Now, before we get into all of those, it's probably worth giving a very quick, brief recap on the new ISA rules that came into play on the 6th of April this year, because they really will be able to transform how you approach the ISAs you go for. Before this, you were limited to one of each type for new money. So the one you would be getting potentially now at the start of a financial year was the only one you'll be able to put money into for the rest of the following 12 months. And if that was a fixed rate account, well, that was your money in, probably in the first couple of weeks. And then that's it. You couldn't add any more money as the year went on if you had that more money, unless you had it in something called a flexible or portfolio ISA. That has changed. You can now have as many different ISAs for new money in a financial year, of course, still governed by that £20,000 cap for new money being added in the year. But if you want to have 5 or 6 different cash ISAs, 5 or 6 different stocks and shares ISAs, you are absolutely fine to do that. I have covered this in detail elsewhere, so I won't repeat myself too much, but just to say, junior ISAs and lifetime ISAs, they are not covered by this new rule. They are still restricted to just one, adding new money to one of those accounts each year. Now, I say these new rules are out there and potentially make your life so much easier, so you can have some easy access, a 1-year fix, 2-year fix. You can have all these different options. Now you can wait till later in the year. That's great. That's in principle. Not every provider is going to let you do that with them, because the rules are optional for providers. They're fine for us, so we can still shop around and we can do it at different providers. We won't necessarily be able to do it at the same ISA provider. Coventry Building Society are a good example of this. They sent an email through to customers and I got that, and it said you can still only pay money into one ISA with them in every year. Now, maybe that will change as the year goes on. Maybe they change their terms and conditions, maybe next year, later, who knows. But just that flexibility is there. You just might have to work a little bit harder to get it. And incidentally as well, the other rule that came into place, that you could do a partial transfer into a new ISA. So you might want to move all your money out of an existing ISA into another one. Again, that is optional as well. Banks and building societies do not have to allow transfers at all. And you might find that many of them don't do this. But if they do, again, they might only allow you to make a full ISA transfer. So that's basically the catch up on the rules that have been going on. So what's going on? Why have I waited for this update for you? Why did I not do this at the start of the financial year? Well, I was hoping that we were going to see rates improve. I was hoping we'd see a little bit of competition at the top of the market, because people, they've got your money for the last financial year. The new financial year comes around and they've introduced some top rates again to try and attract you, to get you to go with them rather than someone else. And that hasn't happened. I don't know whether this is because of the new rules and people are thinking, well, people aren't stuck with us for 12 months now. They can move their money around if they want to, transfer it to somebody else part of the way through the year, or do whatever they want. They're not restricted. Technically, you could have transferred your money away before as well, but you know what I mean. So they're kind of not trying to compete for your business, or maybe they're just being anticipating slightly what is going to be happening still this year. The expectation is we will see those cuts to the Bank of England base rate a few times this year. So maybe they're thinking, right, this is our opportunity. We withdrew the accounts at the end of the financial year because the timelines, the deadlines meant you couldn't keep them open. And then when we brought them back in, we don't have to offer the same rate. So the sad news is, other than easy access, all those fixes are now lower rates than they were just a month ago. So that is really frustrating. But the question is, do you need one as well? Let me quickly look at this. I'll tell you about how these compare to non-ISA accounts. Because remember, the whole point of an ISA is it's tax-free. The growth, whether that's an interest or with stocks and shares ISAs, the actual kind of investment growth itself or dividends, all of that stuff is tax-free when it's in an ISA. But that's not the only way to have tax-free growth. And I did talk about this in detail in another video, so I'm not going to repeat myself too much here. But off the back of that, some of you did sort of ask me a little bit how to work out the difference when you might want to have money in a normal savings account, which has its own personal savings allowance with tax-free allowance up to £500 or £1,000 a year, depending on your tax rate, versus moving it to an ISA. And I said, well, this depends on the rates you're getting. So just quickly show you here, this table shows you the top non-ISA rates as of the time of recording this. If you want to see these will change, be clever with your cash.com/savings, where you will see all the daily updates myself and the team are doing for non-ISA accounts there. You can see the top easy access account right now 5.06, top 1 year 5.16, and so on down. The next column here is what that rate would reduce to after 20% tax was paid. So again, this is interest that you earn over your £1,000 or £500 allowance every year. And then after 40%, if you're a higher rate taxpayer, that's a £500, you pay 40% above that. And then what the best cash rate equivalents are. And I'll take you through those in more detail in a moment. But as you can see there, right now, you are still going to be getting better rates pretty much across the board by having your money outside of an ISA, right? The first amount of interest you earn every year will be better outside of an ISA. But then after that, once you got over your personal savings allowance, then absolutely ISAs come into play. There are no, at the top of the table, you will not be able to get a better rate and pay tax on your interest by having it outside of an ISA. Absolutely look at putting it into a cash ISA afterwards. The only kind of exception is around easy access, and as we'll see later on, there are some really high rates for easy access cash and limited access cash ISAs, and they are better than the non-ISA equivalents. But that's the kind of the pure easy access. As I've shared with you a number of times, I'm not going to go over it again right now, but it is over at becleveryourcash.com/savings. There are ways to get higher than this, 5.16% from Barclays, 7% from Santander, from other sort of limited rate accounts. So broadly speaking, I think that still remains true. The best places to put your money will still be outside of an ISA, but then after that, things change. Now, before we get into the lists of all the different top buys right now, I do want to quickly give you a quick bit of news about an ISA, a cash ISA that should be coming in May. Now, this is from Trading212. You might be thinking, hang on, Andy, didn't you tell us just 4 or 5 weeks ago about how you can get 5.2% in cash savings in Trading212, including their ISA? And I did, but this is different. If you did watch that video or read the article that I wrote about it, you'll know that that money is not protected by the Financial Services Compensation Scheme as it currently stands. Effectively, you're investing that money you put into that Trading212 ISA or their general investment account in very, very, very low risk funds. So it's not guaranteed that it won't disappear, but it's very unlikely. Okay, and in return, they're giving you 5.2, which at the time when I did that analysis was not too amazing, not too much at the top. The way rates are falling, it's starting to be a little bit more intriguing. But that is different. This new one, which they're going to launch, they're saying in May, and it's don't know yet whether it'll be released to everyone all at once or whether it'll be kind of rolled out to customers bit by bit in the same way they are announcing out their cashback debit card. But at the same rate, at 5.2%, I would hold off. If you haven't already gone down that route of opening up a Trading212 stocks and shares ISA for your cash savings, then I wouldn't do it just yet. If you just want to do cash, wait and see what happens when this comes along. I will come back to Trading212 at the end of this video though, because there are some investment offers that are worth considering, including with Trading212. And the other thing I want to quickly say is I'm going to read out a number of different names for different building societies and banks. Some of them are new app ones, some of the kind of other ones you may never have heard of. But broadly speaking, I often get people asking me, can I trust them? Is my money safe? Are they any good? What I would say is all the ones that I list here and over in the savings tables at becleverwithyourcash.com/savings, they are fully protected by the Financial Services Compensation Scheme. So you do get up to £85,000 protection across every financial institution. Okay, so that is really important. Okay, so your money is safe if they were to go bust, you would get that back. But if you're still unsure, just a quick reminder that you can read customer reviews over our sister site, Smart Money People. So it's smartmoneypeople.com. Type in the name of the provider, the bank, the building society, whoever it might be, or any kind of financial product, and they will give you reviews, what people have thought. So they'll be able to tell you, in their experience, if they've used it, if they've had any issues, what the app was like, all that kind of stuff. So that's a great place to go after I've told you about these top rates, just to see if you're happy going with those. Because remember, just because someone offers a top rate doesn't always mean it's your best option. Sometimes other features and customer service means you might want to drop one or two down the table. So let's start looking at the best cash ISAs for 2024, 2025 at the start of the financial year. And first of all, I'm going to go through those easy and limited access ones. Top of the table is a limited access one from Plum. I'm going to go into a little bit more detail on this than I normally would here because there's some useful things to share with you. This is a rate of 5.17%, but of that, a 0.88% bonus is just for 12 months, okay? So after 12 months, your rate will definitely drop. And since it's variable, the rate could also change at any time. It's just the fact worth knowing that for 12 months, 5.17. Now, what's important here, you must have at least £100 in the ISA at all times in order for that rate to to be triggered, that bonus to be triggered. If you drop below that, then you'll lose that bonus. So really, really vital if you are going to be sort of starting off with not so much money or taking money out, that you don't do that. But still 100 quid, that's easy to maintain there, I would say. Also, that rate does not apply to transfers. Transfers just get the lower 4.29% rates. If you were going to move money across, thinking you're getting 5.17%, sadly not. So this is really only one I would suggest you want to go for new money. Also, this is money which you do not need to get hold of very often, although it is easy access, so you can take the money out. One, it's not flexible, so you won't be able to put that money back in without impacting your ISA allowance. And if that's a bit confusing, what does that mean? Do check out the content I've already produced about ISA allowances, and that explains a bit more about flexible ISAs there. And also, there are a maximum of 3 withdrawals a year. If you go over that, like a 4th withdrawal, then the rate will drop down. And also something really important that was pointed out in the Facebook community the other day, if you withdraw your money midway through a month, you lose the interest for that month. So really, you want to wait until the 2nd or 3rd of a month after that interest has been paid to withdraw that interest. Of course, if you do withdraw it, you'll lose that tax-free allowances. But if you do need to get hold of it and you are going for this one for that higher rate, 5.17, which is obviously better than some of the non-ISA accounts, that is something really important to know about. Now, similarly, we have MoneyBox next. Now, a lot of these ones, these top ones I'm going to tell you about, they are all app-based. I have got some alternatives for you in a moment, which are online or phone or post, whatever it might be. Now, a MoneyBox 5.16% also includes a bonus for 1 year of 0.91%. So that will drop after a year. However, you do not have some of those restrictions that you get with the Plum one, because if you have transfers, it accepts transfers in. Transfers will get that higher rate for 12 months, although variable again, so it could change. They're the top two. Again, both of them are limited access. If you don't want limited access, you want to be able to get hold of your money as much as you want, then you probably want to be looking at CHIP. CHIP pays 5.1%. This is they say it's tracking at 0.25% below the Bank of England base rate, but on the gross rate rather than the AER rate. So it's not technically 0.15% below the base rate on AER, but more or less it is. So this will definitely drop, no doubt about it, if the base rate drops. I mean, the others are going to drop as well if the base rate goes down, but this one we know 100% it will. This one is flexible, so you can put money in and take it out and then put it back in without impacting your allowance. So that's a really useful feature. However, no transfers are allowed in at the moment. That hopefully will change, but that's the current situation. And it's also worth sharing this one. Your money is held with ClearBank, not with CHIP themselves. And if you have savings elsewhere with ClearBank, then that obviously will impact that financial services compensation scheme protection that I mentioned before. Now, again, it's 85k. It's a lot of money, but just have that in the back of your mind, particularly if you're using CHIP for your other savings as well. It is cumulative across the whole of ClearBank, whether it's with CHIP or someone else, for 85k for protection. And the last one to tell you about here, again, app only, is Zopa. This is giving you 5.08%. Again, this includes a bonus. That 0.5% bonus lasts until the 6th of May 2025. So from the time I'm recording this, a little bit more than a year. Now, this one allows transfers in and it is fully flexible. So again, although it is app only, it doesn't have some of those other restrictions that the other ones I've just gone through do. Now, if those ones do not work for you because you cannot access or don't want to have your savings in an app, I want to quickly just share with you some alternatives. Now, if you are going to have to take a drop in the interest rate here, but if you want to happy with online rather than app banking, online banking, Synergy 4.9%, Family Building Society 4.86%, both low transfers in, but neither of them are flexible. If you would rather do something via the post because you don't want to be online at all, then we've got Family Building Society again, 4.86%, or Tipton and Cosley Building Society at 4.85%. And then we also have got one more below this, we'll quickly share with you as well. If you want to go in person to a branch, so basically a national chain, do check your local building societies because they might have a rate only available for people who live in your area. But the top one here is with Virgin Money, 4.76 for an easy access cash ISA. This allows transfers in and it is flexible, but that's the only one where nationally you're going to be able to just walk in and add your money. Now, next, let's have a look at your fixed rate ISAs, because again, fixed rate ones, this is particularly where those rates have not recovered at all. Now, just recently launched is the Virgin Money 1 year fix, 5.05%. This is only open to current account holders. You have to have a Virgin Money current account. They do have another one paying a lower rate at 1 year. If you don't have one, but ideally, you want to have a current account so you can get hold of this. Now, before, in the last financial year, that was 5.25%. So that's a good example of how they have made these cuts. The same account, but it is a much, much lower rate. If you don't have a Virgin Money current account, the current best buy is Shawbrook Bank, 4.76% for 1 year fix. As we go down to 2 year fixes, you can get 4.62% of both Oak North and Furness Building Society. 3 year fix, you can get 4.39% at Oak North again, but also UBL. And then for a 4 year fix, it's UBL again at 4.05%, then Zopa at 4.01%. And when we go to 5 years, bit of a jump up here, UBL with 4.16% and Close Brothers with 4.05%. Now, out of all those options there, at least one on each of those categories can be opened online or by the phone or by the post or in person. So you've got options there if you don't want to do just app banking or just online banking, to give you some choices. Now again, that is only a small number. These are the top of the table at the time of recording this. There are obviously going to be many, many others, and we list them over at becleveryourcash.com/savings. Junior ISAs now, very quickly. These ones can be opened by the post or in branch, okay? And obviously, because some, if you're a kid, you have to go in often with them or do this thing. It's quite a nice way of getting them to learn about money. Top of the table, still Coventry Building Society, 4.95%. Loughborough Building Society then at 4.8%. And then you've got a number of others at 4.75%. So Leek, Skipton and Stafford Building Societies all there. And then Newbury, Earl Shilton, Family Building Society all offering relatively decent rates. If you do want to have a junior ISA online, then the NSNI, that is paying 4%. So again, a big drop down, or Tesco Bank, also 4%. You can actually do the Tesco one via the phone as well. So there are alternatives if you can't actually go into a branch or don't want to do it on the post. Now, as you guys know, if you are regular viewers of this channel, we don't cover stocks and shares, ISAs, we don't cover investments here in any big detail, but there are a couple of special offers I wanted to share with you this one because I think they are quite interesting ones to look at if you are investing. Now, the platforms themselves, as it happens, also probably the cheapest options for your stocks and shares ISAs because they do not charge any sort of general fee as a platform. A platform is effectively the place you go to buy those stocks and shares. It's the overall brand, and often in this case it's apps. So it could be, and these ones it's Trading212, who we mentioned before, and InvestEngine. Both of those ones will not charge you a platform fee for having your stocks and shares ISA with them. So that's that's often why they're probably, for many people who just want passive investing, they don't want to be buying lots of individual shares, and they don't want to be having any sort of managed funds. If they just want passive, index-linked stocks, funds, then they're often going to be really, really good options for you. Again, not recommending them. Do your research. Do look at the individual fees that are going to come into play, of course, with what you choose, the actual funds that you then buy once you've got that platform. But there's certainly ones that I've been looking at. One other reminder as well. With investment, your money could go up and it could go down. So you want to be thinking about investing for the long term, at least 5 years. That gives you a chance to ride out any dips in the market. If it goes down, we've got time for it to come back up again. So again, with investing, and we don't cover in a huge amount of detail, I haven't looked at the whole of market. I'm just telling you about a few of them. So please do some additional research just to make sure you're fully aware of what you're doing with your money and those costs that are going to come into play. But as I said, there are a couple of offers which are really worth looking at, I think. The first one, that Trading212 this is for new deposits. 1% cash back on new money that you add to their their stocks and shares ISA. Again, talked about the cash ISA earlier on. Maybe wait for that one. But if you are going to invest, you are going to buy those index funds, this can be a really good option to get an extra 1% locked in. Now, the most obviously you can add, this is new money only. The most you can put in a year obviously is £20,000. So the biggest bonus is going to be is 200 quid. Again, lots of terms and conditions. You want to read about that. We have covered it in more detail over on becleveryourcash.com, but do make sure you read all that information. The alternative one is with InvestEngine. Again, this one will give you a bonus of up to £2,500 on transfer. So not new money, on money you transfer over from a different ISA. Both of these will run for the next few weeks for during April. So they both were well worth having a look at if you are trying to, again, get this bonuses, but also potentially reduce your fees on your investments. Appreciate I packed a lot in here. Remember, becleverwithyourcash.com/savings to find all the best rates across all the different savings accounts. Plus, you'll also on the website find links and more information to those investment offers that I mentioned as well. My name's Andy Webb. Thanks so much for watching. Until next time, check out these videos for more ways to boost your savings.